We live in a world that often rewards the loudest voice in the room. We are taught that if we want to be heard, we must shout. If we want to be understood, we must explain. If we want to keep people in our lives, we must chase them. But there is a different way to live, a way that preserves your peace and protects your energy. The most powerful people in the world are not the ones making the most noise. They are the ones who are calm, silent, and deeply aware. You cannot manipulate someone who sees everything but reacts to nothing. Today, I want to share 7 silent habits of people who cannot be controlled, fooled, or emotionally tricked. These are habits that you can cultivate, starting right now, to build a fortress of peace around your beautiful heart. The first habit is perhaps the most profound change you can make in your daily interactions. They listen more than they speak. In our modern culture, we are often uncomfortable with silence. When there is a pause in the conversation, we feel a nervous impulse to fill it. We worry that if we are not talking, we are not contributing, or worse, that we are being awkward. But let's look at this through the lens of emotional intelligence. Manipulative people, or even just people who drain your energy, want you to talk. They want you to reveal your insecurities, your fears, your triggers, and your history. The more you speak, the more data you provide to the world about how to influence you. Emotionally strong people understand the immense power of observation. They sit back. They listen not just to the words being spoken, but to the tone of voice, the pacing, and the silence between the sentences. They listen for the intention behind the words. When you stop worrying about what you are going to say next, you free up your mind to truly understand who is in front of you. You begin to see people deeply, without revealing too much of yourself prematurely. This is not about being secretive or cold. It is about being discerning. It is about realizing that your thoughts and your privacy are sacred. When you embrace the role of the observer, you step out of the chaotic current of the river and stand firmly on the bank, watching the water flow by. You become grounded. You become safe. The second habit flows naturally from the first. They do not explain themselves too much. Oh, this is a hard one for so many of us who are natural caretakers or people pleasers. We have this deep-seated belief that if we could just find the right words, if we could just explain our point of view clearly enough, the other person would understand us, validate us, and treat us better. We overshare to be understood. We offer justification after justification for our choices, our boundaries, and our feelings. But here is the truth that emotionally strong people have learned. If someone is committed to misunderstanding you, no amount of explanation will change their mind. When you over-explain, you are essentially handing over your power. You are asking for permission to feel what you feel or to want what you want. Strong people know that no is a complete sentence. They know that their choices do not require a defense attorney. When you stop trying to convince people of your worth, you signal to the world that you already know your worth. You stop engaging in the exhausting cycle of justifying your existence. If you decline an invitation, you simply decline it. If you set a boundary, you state it clearly and move on. Their peace speaks for them. There is a quiet confidence in simply being, without the frantic energy of trying to prove that you have a right to be. When you stop explaining, you start living. Now, let us move to the third habit, which is a true superpower in difficult relationships. They stay calm when the other person wants a reaction. We have all been there. Someone says something specifically designed to push your buttons. Maybe it is a backhanded compliment, a sarcastic remark, or a direct accusation. The goal of this behavior is to pull you into the mud. Manipulators and toxic individuals feed on emotional reactions. Your anger, your tears, and your defensiveness are fuel for them. It confirms that they have control over your emotional state. It turns the interaction into a game that they know how to win. But consider what happens when you refuse to play that game. Imagine you are a gray rock, unmoving and uninteresting. Emotionally strong people starve this strategy by remaining calm. This is not about suppressing your emotions or pretending you do not care. It is about protecting your inner sanctuary. When you do not react, you keep the control. You force the other person to sit with their own behavior. Silence becomes your shield. It creates a mirror where the other person has to look at what they just did, because you are not distracting them with a chaotic reaction. This calmness is not weakness. It is the ultimate display of strength. It says, I am the master of my own emotions, and I do not give you the remote control to my mood. The fourth habit is about how we relate to others on a fundamental level. They do not chase people, they choose them. This is a shift from a mindset of scarcity to a mindset of abundance. When we feel unworthy, we often find ourselves begging for attention, competing for affection, or trying to prove that we are good enough to be loved. We chase after friends who do not text back. We chase after partners who are emotionally unavailable. We pour our energy into black holes, hoping that eventually it will be returned. Emotionally strong people have retired from the chasing business. They understand a simple but painful truth. The right people stay. The right people meet you halfway. You do not have to convince someone to respect you. You do not have to trick someone into loving you. Strong souls let the wrong people leave. In fact, they hold the door open for them. They understand that every person who walks out of your life is making space for someone better suited to your future to walk in. They let both happen, the leaving and the arriving, without panic. They choose relationships that feel like sunlight, not relationships that feel like a constant storm. They rest in the knowledge that what is meant for them will not pass them by. This brings us to the fifth habit, which is crucial for protecting your heart. They see patterns, not apologies. We all want to believe the best in people. We want to believe that when someone says, "I am sorry," they really mean it. And sometimes they do. But for an emotionally strong person, words are cheap. Behavior is the only currency they accept. Manipulators often use apologies as a reset button. They say the magic words to smooth things over, only to repeat the exact same hurtful behavior 3 days later. It becomes a cycle. Hurt, apologize, repeat. Strong souls break this cycle by ignoring the words and watching the patterns. They look at the data of your history together. If someone has let you down 10 times, an apology on the 11th time does not hold much weight. They judge consistency, not promises. They understand that a true apology is changed behavior. If the behavior does not change, the apology was just manipulation disguised as politeness. By focusing on patterns, you protect yourself from the heartbreak of false hope. You see the reality of who someone is, not just the potential of who you want them to be. This clarity allows you to make decisions based on truth rather than wishful thinking. The sixth habit is about resource management. They protect their energy like it is currency. Imagine that you wake up every morning with a limited amount of coins in your pocket. These coins represent your emotional energy, your focus, and your patience. Every conversation costs a coin. Every conflict costs 10 coins. Every moment of stress drains your account. Emotionally strong people know that peace is expensive, so they are very careful about how they spend their budget. They say no without guilt because they know that saying yes to something they do not want to do is saying no to their own well-being. They leave conversations that feel heavy or circular. They walk away the moment they feel their soul dimming. They do not feel obligated to set themselves on fire to keep others warm. They prioritize their rest, their joy, and their mental health. They curate their environment, their social media feeds, and their inner circles to ensure that they are being replenished, not just depleted. They treat their energy with the same respect they would treat their bank account, knowing that you cannot pour from an empty cup. And finally, the seventh habit, they let silence speak for them. In our society, we are taught that we must always have the last word. We feel that if we do not respond, the other person wins. But manipulation ends the moment you stop responding. There is a profound power in simply disengaging. When you have stated your boundary and the other person continues to push, you do not need to restate it. You do not need to argue. You can simply withdraw. Distance exposes truth faster than confrontation ever will. When you step back, you gain perspective. You realize that you do not have to tell people you have changed. Your silence makes them feel it. Your absence is a message. It says that you are no longer available for disrespect. It says that your presence is a privilege, not a right. Remember, power is not in how you react. Power is in what you choose not to respond to. By embracing silence, You are not running away, you are rising above. You are stepping out of the mud and walking on higher ground. My dear friends, these 7 habits are not about becoming cold, unfeeling, or isolated. They are about becoming whole. They are about reclaiming the pieces of yourself that you have given away to others in an attempt to be liked or understood. You are becoming someone who cannot be controlled because you have learned how to control yourself. You are learning that your inner peace is the most valuable treasure you possess, and it is worth defending with the fierce grace of a lioness. I want you to take a moment and think about which one of these habits resonated with you the most today. Is it the need to stop explaining? Is it the courage to stop chasing? Or maybe it is the permission to finally rest in silence. Whatever it is, know that it is a journey. You do not have to be perfect at this tomorrow. Just becoming aware of these dynamics is the first step toward freedom. You are allowed to rewrite the rules of how you engage with the world. You are allowed to be the quiet observer. You are allowed to choose yourself. As we wrap up this session, I want to invite you to do something for me. If this message felt like home to you, if it touched a place in your spirit that needed soothing, please tap the comment section and write these 3 simple words. I choose peace. Let that be your mantra for the week. Let it be a declaration to the universe that you are stepping into your power. And if you have not already, please subscribe to our Happy Aura family. We are growing a community of mindful, gentle souls who are navigating this life together, and we would love to have you with us. Remember, your silence is not empty. It is full of answers. Your calmness is not weakness. It is a superpower. You are strong, you are capable, and you are worthy of a life that feels good on the inside, not just one that looks good on the outside. Go gently into the rest of your day. Drink some water, look at the sky, and be kind to yourself. You are doing better than you think you are. Let us dig a little deeper into why these habits are so transformative, shall we? I want to expand on the concept of the gray rock method I mentioned earlier, because it is such a practical tool for your toolkit. When we talk about staying calm when others want a reaction, we are really talking about breaking the chain of emotional contagion. Emotions are contagious. When someone comes at you with high, chaotic energy, your mirror neurons want to match that energy. It is a biological survival mechanism. But in our modern world, this mechanism often works against us. By consciously choosing to lower your volume, slow your speech, and deepen your breath, you are hacking your own biology. You are signaling to your nervous system that you are safe, even if the person in front of you is trying to create danger. Think about the ocean. The surface might be choppy and driven by the wind, representing the external drama of life and other people's opinions. But if you dive down deep, 10, 20, 30 feet below the surface, the water is still. It is cool. It is unaffected by the storm above. That is where I want you to live. I want you to build your home in the deep, still waters of your own soul. When you operate from that place, the waves on the surface cannot toss you around. You might feel them, you might see them, but they do not move you. Let's also reflect more on the idea of not explaining. This is deeply tied to our sense of identity. When we are children, we often have to explain ourselves to authority figures to avoid trouble or to get our needs met. We carry this childhood programming into adulthood, thinking that everyone is an authority figure who needs to approve of our actions. But you are the authority in your own life now. You are the CEO of your existence. A CEO does not go around the office explaining to every employee why they made a strategic decision. They make the decision because it is best for the company. You must treat your life with that same level of executive leadership. You make decisions because they are best for you. The explanation is optional, not mandatory. And regarding the habit of choosing, not chasing, I want you to visualize a garden. If you want butterflies in your garden, you do not run around with a net trying to catch them. That is exhausting, and you will likely damage their wings. Instead, you plant flowers. You build a beautiful ecosystem. You water the soil. And when the garden is healthy and vibrant, the butterflies come to you. They stay because they want to, not because you trapped them. This is how we should approach relationships. Build a life that you love. Become a person who is interesting, kind, and fulfilled. Cultivate your own happiness. When you do that, you become magnetic. The right people, the butterflies, will naturally be drawn to your energy. And those who fly past, they were simply looking for a different kind of flower. And that is perfectly okay. The concept of seeing patterns over apologies is also about trusting your intuition. How many times have you had a gut feeling that something was off, but you talked yourself out of it because the other person used such pretty words? Your intuition is an ancient guidance system. It picks up on micro-expressions, shifts in tone, and inconsistencies that your conscious mind might miss. When you focus on patterns, you are essentially validating your own intuition. You are telling yourself, I saw this happen before, I see it happening again, and I trust what I see. This builds massive self-trust, and self-trust is the foundation of confidence. When you trust yourself to see the truth, you no longer need validation from others. Protecting your energy is also about defining your boundaries. A boundary is not a wall that shuts people out. It is a gate that you open and close. You get to decide who comes in and how long they stay. Some people drain your battery in 5 minutes. Others recharge it. It is your responsibility to monitor your battery level. If you are at 10%, you cannot afford a 2-hour conversation with someone who loves to complain. It is not selfish to say, I am at capacity right now. I need to rest. In fact, it is the most generous thing you can do, because it ensures that when you do show up, you are fully present and not resentful. Finally, letting silence speak is about comfort with the void. We are terrified of the void. We think that if we stop doing, we cease to exist. But in the void, in the silence, is where creation happens. It is where clarity is found. When you stop reacting to everyone else, you finally have the space to ask yourself, what do I want? How do I feel? What is my truth? The silence acts as a filter. It filters out the noise of the world so you can hear the whisper of your own heart. And that whisper is where your true direction lies. So, as you move forward from this video, I want you to carry these 7 silent habits like 7 golden keys in your pocket. Use them whenever you feel the world trying to pull you off balance. Use the key of listening to gain wisdom. Use the key of not explaining to gain freedom. Use the key of calmness to gain control. Use the key of choosing to gain love. Use the key of patterns to gain truth. Use the key of energy protection to gain vitality. And use the key of silence to gain yourself. You are a masterpiece in progress. Every day that you choose peace over chaos, you are adding another brushstroke of brilliance to the canvas of your life. Do not be discouraged if you slip up. Do not beat yourself up if you react or over-explain tomorrow. Just notice it. Smile at yourself with compassion and gently guide yourself back to the center, back to the deep water, back to the garden. I believe in you so much. I believe in your capacity to change, to grow, and to become the most powerful, peaceful version of yourself. Thank you for letting me be a small part of your journey today. It is an honor that I do not take lightly. Keep breathing, keep trusting, keep choosing peace. I am sending you a giant, warm hug through the screen. Feel it. Good. Take care of your precious self. I will see you in the next video. Bye.